Hey, Jason Fladlin here, and in this video we're going to talk about the ASM4 promotional plan. Now this was an idea that I got because I posted in the Facebook group the other day. I said, hey, what videos would you like me to create? And I was reading through and this one really popped out. I don't think it's exactly applicable ASAP for most people because you got to kind of have a product online before you actually do these things. But it's nice to look ahead in a sense, to know what to expect as it gets there, to have more of a complete picture. So that's the main purpose as of now. And of course, you should reference this later when you do get your product listed on Amazon to have more of an overall plan. So the first thing we're going to talk about is like you got the product, now what? So like maybe you selected the product. And you kind of got a concept, so you say, what else should I be doing to keep moving forward, Jason? Well, digging the well before you're thirsty. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video is things that you can consider doing in advance. Some of us just to get it started before you even need it. So if you're going to be using Facebook, for example, maybe there's something you can do today on Facebook to get you ready for when your product actually arrives that'll be beneficial to you. Or it could even just be a matter of, I think I might use blank when my product goes live, so let me get at least a background basis of understanding of this thing. So that way when it comes time to use it, I'm more clear on what I can use and how to use it before I even can use it, if that makes sense, right? The other one is big picture clear, small details fuzzy. So the main purpose of this video as of today is I want to give you the big picture and make it clearer to you. I do not want to make all the small details clear to you, because if we talk and get into details about everything, like detail, you're going to be bogged down. It's not going to actually be beneficial to you, probably, most likely. So it's good to be big picture clear, small details fuzzy. You will always be small details fuzzy. You don't win in this business by knowing all the small details. You win in this business by understanding that, hey, I don't know the small details, but let me just try some stuff and see what happens, and then make adjustments based on what we've tried. And then the details become much clearer to you. The other really beneficial way to use this video is sometimes there's things that are hidden in plain sight. Like you would never consider them, never go over them, never make them part of your plan, until maybe I just bring them out and say, this thing here that you already knew about, you just weren't thinking about using it for your ASM business, well, maybe you should. And you say, oh yeah, great. And that might shift your thinking to what can I do when my product goes live, so you're more in a mental state to take advantage of that. So this is kind of the overview of the benefits of this video and what it can do for you. Now let's break down some specifics. So for promotion options, I'm going to break it down into two categories. There's the short-term promotion options, and then there's the long-term promotion offers. Let's start with the short-term. Now in short-term, there's basically two ways that you're going to get traffic to your Amazon products. The traffic within Amazon, where Amazon basically gives you the traffic, and then the traffic outside of Amazon. So let's start with traffic inside Amazon. Now in an ideal world, we get both. One of the beautiful things, though, about the ASM business is oftentimes we do not need both. Now, there's always layers of protection at every step in the process, which makes this business so powerful. Is ideally we pick a product with low supply, high demand, as I've been discussing over and over again. But even if you accidentally or mistakenly, or maybe the market changes and it wasn't high supply yesterday, but it's high supply today, this stuff kind of does happen occasionally, right? Then we know that, hey, if I was relying on just traffic within Amazon and I don't get that, there's still so much money to be made with the traffic from outside of Amazon. Even if you've never had any previous experience with driving traffic to any web listing, or if you've always done so and never could convert it. Okay, those are no longer issues. I'll talk about that shortly. But within Amazon, there's three main specific ways in the short term that you can tap into potential hordes of traffic on Amazon. The first way is with main keywords. So with the example of fish oil. Fish oil is a product where we could say the main keywords are fish oil, which is obvious, omega-3 oil, which could be considered a main keyword for fish oil, and then natural fish oil. So how did I come up with those? If you actually type in fish oil, you're going to see omega-3 is a big word, omega-3 consistently used, and fish oil, obviously. Omega-3 and fish oil, you see that everywhere. Fish oil, omega-3, but then you see Nature, which is a brand, Nature Made, okay? And then you also start to then seeing it show up in other places. But again, notice omega-3, fish oil, they're usually at the beginning. Here's another word, Nature. Here's another Nature, which is a brand, of course. but then you get into natural lemon flavors and Nordic naturals. And so it would not be surprising to me, I could be wrong, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if I would consider natural fish oil a major keyword, because I see it all over the place in all these listings. I see customers describing it as such when you read the reviews over and over again, right? But for sure, without a doubt, fish oil and omega-3 oil are great. Now, not all products have 3 main keywords. A lot of products only have 1. Garcinia cambogia is really all that there is for the main keyword, or a vitamin C serum or a hyaluronic acid serum. They have 1 keyword and 1 keyword only as a main keyword, the money keyword, if you will, the one that's going to drive a majority of the traffic. Some products have 2 keywords, or some products potentially have 3, which is the case with fish oil, but usually they don't have more than that. Sometimes they can, and that's great, but it's not a big deal if they only have 1 main keyword. But so, in an ideal world, whatever our product is for the main keyword, we show up on page 1 for, which gets a majority of the traffic. Now, page 2 traffic is a real thing in Amazon, and for some products, there's a lot of traffic that trickles down to page 2 or even page 3. Now, one of the things that I look at when I analyze bestseller matrix ideas for products, if the product doesn't immediately leap out to what obviously a main keyword can be for it, then I don't like it, okay? So I'll give you a good example of the difference. If I just say something like weight loss supplement, the problem with this keyword is it's way too generic. It's not a specific keyword to a product, so I don't call it a good keyword, but thermogenic is one that pops up a lot, but then there's also Garcinia cambogia. There's also raspberry ketones, then raspberry ketones, and then another Garcinia. See, we want it to when the main keyword that you type in, everybody on page 1 has that same keyword. So where this has a difference between thermogenic, Garcinia cambogia, and raspberry ketones, if I type in raspberry ketones, what we're going to notice is, with very rare exception, is everything on here is going to be raspberry ketones, raspberry ketones, raspberry ketones, raspberry ketones, raspberry ketones. Now this one is a green coffee bean extract with raspberry ketones, right? But you get the idea. Raspberry ketones is the main keyword. Now, how many main keywords would there be for raspberry ketones? That's probably it. There's probably no other main keyword. There might be natural or organic, potentially raspberry ketones. But again, we look at the top sellers. Are there other ones that are common? So if, by the way, our raspberry ketones also had a green coffee bean extract in it, then we could have 2 keywords, 2 main keywords that we go after, but we don't necessarily need that. So in this case, a weight loss supplement or an appetite suppressant would be a secondary keyword, because they're not in common with all the listings found here, and it's not something that a lot of people are going to who are specifically looking for a raspberry ketone are typing in. So most products have 1 main keyword, maybe 2. If you're some rare ones have 3. That's where you're going to get a majority of your traffic, and that's what we try to rank for on page 1 for Amazon. There's also secondary keywords. So for fish oil, secondary keywords could be like best, which is my favorite keyword. I always use best as a keyword. Organic, in certain cases for this product, it makes sense. This one is both combined, fish oil, omega-3, and then fish oil supplements. There are other secondary keywords to consider. You say, Jason, how do you come up with those secondary keywords? It's actually very easy. First thing I do is I type in fish oil. So you see fish oil, omega-3. So that's a secondary keyword. Fish oil for dogs is in fact a secondary keyword, but it's not relevant if we're selling an actual fish oil supplement for humans, right? Fish oil liquid, same thing. If it's not a liquid, we don't want to. But fish oil supplements is a secondary keyword because it's an Amazon suggested keyword. Pills is a secondary keyword, okay? Fish oil for kids, I don't know if that's relevant or not. And Carlson is a brand name, so I wouldn't even try to do that. But the other way we can pull secondary keywords is looking at other people's listing. So if we see the word supplement as an example, pills is another example that you see here. Concentrate might be another keyword, okay? Soft gels, soft gels, soft gels. These might be secondary keywords. Soft gels. Now, the interesting thing I always like to do is I look at fish oil, and then I look at, say, fish oil omega-3, and I say, are there a lot of difference in the results between the 2 of these? And so what we might find is some of these secondary keywords have listings on page 1 that are not on the main keyword because people are using a ranker link if they're my people, or in general they're more focused on ranking a secondary keyword. And then the hope is between all the traffic they get from their secondary keywords is enough traffic to make them money and also create enough demand to help between secondary keywords, raise their profile for ranking for the main keyword, which often happens. If I'm driving a lot, certain sales for this keyword, and this keyword, and this keyword, over time, if I can consistently do that, I will automatically start ranking for this main keyword. So we really look at it two ways. Now, it's easy to go for both simultaneously when you're starting to do promotion for your main keywords and for your secondary keywords using our ranker link, and I recommend that you do both. But you should try to do both, and usually there should be plenty of traffic just in Amazon through ranking with your main and secondary keywords, and also Amazon sponsored ads, which, by the way, can help you with your secondary keywords. So you go and you run your Amazon sponsored ads, and the ones that convert, the ones that get the clicks, the one that makes the sales, that's also what you start optimizing for in Amazon organically. So when they just search those keywords, you show up. The obvious keywords would be your main keyword to bid on, your secondary keywords. Amazon has a suggestion function, so they literally can pick your keywords and set your bid for you if you wish to use that, which a lot of people like to do up front, and then you can adjust it manually later on. I am a big fan also of non-obvious keywords because, oh my God, this is so cheap. Amazon ads are so cheap and they're so easy that we can go into non-obvious keywords. So let me give you an example of how I would find this for fish oil. By the way, this is a killer technique. Almost nobody knows this. So another great reason why you love the fact that you bought from us. We can look at one of this omega-3, right? Here's what we do. We look at frequently bought together or customers who bought this also bought. And what you're going to notice, a lot of customers who buy fish oil also buy CoQ10, or they buy vitamin D3, or they buy a multivitamin, right? So guess what I advertise on? For some of these things, I will advertise on vitamin D3, that keyword, my fish oil. Now maybe that's too much of a competitive keyword, but I might then advertise on vitamin D3 organic or organic vitamin D3. So I pull these long tail keywords or these secondary keywords like turmeric curcumin. I could advertise my fish oil on that because customers who bought this also buy turmeric curcumin, and customers who buy turmeric curcumin also buy fish oil. See what I'm getting at here? This is the stuff nobody knows about or thinks about. So the idea here is because they buy one, you can target them, and the other one, it's too cheap on Amazon not to do this. You just got to show Amazon you're relevant. So you put in one of your bullet points in your listing. It goes great with a turmeric curcumin or blank or blank or blank, right? You have one of your reviewers saying, I love taking this with blank, okay? Or you put in your Seller Central account when they ask you for keywords for that product, you put in those other keywords. And now you're more likely to show up at a very cheap rate in Amazon sponsored ads. The other way is you want to think about what type of keywords that you can bid are not obvious that most other people that are doing Amazon ads aren't bidding on, is things that trigger, oh, I should get that too. You know, so if I'm buying a certain baby product, if there's another complementary one, like if I'm buying diapers, and then I see one of those diaper genies that like gets rid of the stench, I might not be thinking to buy the diaper genie until I see it, and I say, oh, I should get that too, right? So if you could think about products related to your product, that if they're going to buy that product and they see your product and they say, oh, I should get that too, then your Amazon ads can be very effective for keywords that nobody else bids on. You know, the joke might be, and this is so true, is like portable baby sound machine. Who's advertising for that keyword? Okay? Nobody right now. Isn't that ridiculous? Nobody on the site, at least. Is there anybody at the bottom? Nope. Isn't that crazy? But there was a portable baby sound machine. There was at one point in time somebody advertising a humidifier, a baby humidifier, right? I bet you they were making money. Why they quit advertising it, I don't know. Because if they were the only one advertising for this keyword, it was so gosh darn cheap. And if they didn't want it, they wouldn't click on it. If they want it, then they would click on it. And then I guarantee you some of them will buy it. And they can make money that way. So the, oh, I should get that too factor. The other one is trending. So if certain things are getting super duper hot, like take a diet pill, right? Say you were selling a Garcinia cambogia, but this new miracle forskolin pill breaks out of nowhere or something like that. Advertise your Garcinia on these new trending weight loss fads and supplements. And people could say, oh, what's this? Because if one supplement is good for them, then they'll look at all kinds of supplements. And so if you can tap into trends within that are related to your product, or even tangentially related, you can leverage those potentially with Amazon ads. Most people will not need to go outside of Amazon. You could do everything just from some basic jump start technique to get some sales going. So when I mean within Amazon, if we just push a couple sales from any way outside of Amazon, we won't need to stay outside. We won't need to stay outside of Amazon for very long. push just a handful of cells outside of Amazon where people go through our main keyword using an ASM ranker link or our secondary keywords, and then we'd just drive outside traffic maybe once or twice. We're done, and then Amazon takes over. Or conversely, we have Amazon sponsored ads that do enough of the heavy lifting for us that then ranks our products through our ads for our main and secondary keywords, and then Amazon takes over. So most people, most of the success stories you see, they did not either at all drive outside Amazon traffic, or if they did, it was only very, very shortly, just to jumpstart their listing to get ranked for their main and secondary keywords, and then Amazon took over, or they just ran ads and took over. Now, there are some instances, depending on the competitiveness of the product, depending on wild card factors, because there's nothing predictable about specifics. Who knows? I mean, even if it works 99 times out of 100, there's one time it might not work, right? So if within Amazon doesn't pan out for you, or if you want to stack the odds in your favor even further, you get outside Amazon traffic. So Google pay-per-click. So think about it like this: if ads work in Amazon's sponsored ads, try those same keywords in Google pay-per-click. The beautiful thing about Google pay-per-click is you direct link right to your listing. So if I Google fish oil right now, there's an Amazon.com advertiser. There can only be one advertiser per domain. So let's see who this is advertising. So if I click on this ad, this is actually probably an ASMer advertising this thing. And they're selling for $35.71, right? And they're selling okay. Not super great, but not bad. Probably 4 or 5 units a day. But you see what I did there. All you have to do to advertise on Google pay-per-click for any keyword, and I bet you fish oil is probably not that great of a keyword to advertise on, and we can talk about the ad copy. This is horrible ad copy. We'll talk more about this in the bonus with James Watson, the Google AdWords strategy there, right? But the point is, what do I have to do to run Google pay-per-click ads? Nothing. Bid on a keyword, write a 1, 2, 3 line at most advertisement, because it's either this 3 lines like this, title 1, 2, or it's 3 lines that this display only shows like this, right? So you write a couple lines, bid on a keyword, a certain price, and then we direct link right to our Amazon listing. We don't have to build a website or any of that stuff. That's the easiest way to do it. So you do Google pay-per-click. So if it works on Amazon or whatever keywords they suggest to you on Amazon, bring them over and also bid them on Google. Or you can use Google AdWords ad group suggestions, which James and I will talk about specifically how to do that. Or you can just manually start adding keywords that you think are good and see what happens on Google. For a lot of products that are not super duper competitive, Google pay-per-click is wide open in Amazon, and it's so easy, and everybody overlooks it because they think of it's super hard, but it's not. Okay, you might say, does my product make sense to do on Facebook? Certain products do, certain products don't. Okay, advertising supplements on Facebook is going to be very hard. Most people do not want to buy from a stranger a supplement that they put into their body while they're surfing on Facebook. Okay, but you take like a silicone baking mat, and people on Facebook go nuts because kitchen and dining is a very social type of thing, right? So some things are inherently out of the box more fun for Facebook than others, are more likely to work with Facebook than others. I usually start with a Facebook campaign direct to my Amazon listing, because it's simple. I get some data, I get to see who's looking at my stuff, who's interested in my stuff, who's clicking on it, what groups, does anybody even like my ad, right? If that works, and if I can even come anywhere close to making any money, not even at a profit, but just generating some sales even at a loss, that's exciting, because then what I can do next is build a simple in-between page, as we call it. So I'd run the ad to a one-page website that says, hey, you saw our product on Facebook. Would you love to get a huge discount for it? Here's how you get this discount. You're going to go to Amazon through the link below, and on the checkout, you're going to use this coupon code. Here it is. Now click here to go on Amazon and buy it. And the click here is the ranker link, right? And because we put in that extra step for them to read that page first, our conversion are very high. And so oftentimes that's all you need for a lot of products is Facebook to a one-page website with a link that's an ASM ranker link to your listing. Some people, depending on the market or depending on the sophistication or depending on what they want to do with it, they throw a lead capture page in between. So you advertise on Facebook, hey, would you love to get this amazing discount or coupon on this product? If so, click here. When they go to the click here, it's to a two-page website. Page number 1 is getting our coupon code is really easy. Just give us your name and your email, and then we'll email you our coupon code, right? And then on when they give you that on the thank you page, they say, okay, now go over here and check your email. That's like a 2-page site, right? And then you send them an email, and the email says, here's your coupon code, now go here and buy it. And usually that's when you drop in a rank link. The benefit of using a lead capture page is that now you have an email list and you can mail them over and over again other offers, or follow up with the same offer, come back later and try to get a review from them, etc., right? The downside is it's a little bit more sophisticated, okay? One of my favorite things to do is to run a contest. Hey, enter here to win. Every Friday we draw a new winner and we give them this $50 coupon to restaurant.com, a restaurant.com coupon. What does that mean? It means any one of these number of restaurants you can have lunch for up to $50 or dinner for free. Enter in here to win. And then on the thank you page I could say, because you entered here, you're already guaranteed a prize. What's that prize? A 50% discount on our silicone baking mat so you can cook from home. Whatever, right? So you get the lead on the front end. On the back end, you make a deal or an offer, but you also have the customer list, so then you can market to them whatever Amazon product that you have on the back end, or even other stuff, not just Amazon related, anything that can make you money. So that's a consideration from strategy. Press releases are great. There's 2 ways to do it: either go big or go consistent. So there are certain places where you can pay like $400 or $500 or $600 for a press release, like a PRweb.com and others. Or you can use free press release distribution sites. A lot of those are within available to you in the ASM tools. And if not, there's all kinds of sites. You can Google press release distribution. There's many sites out there that will do some or a lot of it for you for free. If we go big, which I much prefer, for $500, we can get a lot of bang for our buck by doing one press release that shoots enough generation of traffic to our Amazon listing to bring in enough sales for then Amazon to take over. The other way, too, which is also good, is we don't spend money, but we consistently crank out press release after press release after press release. And enough of these get picked up in enough places that the totality of all that traffic makes money on Amazon, and then hopefully it is enough to rank your product on page 1, right? And even if it's not, you just keep doing that, and you'll keep making money. Thomason is very effective, okay? There's 2 things you could do immediately. You say you go to Thomason.com. Okay, so let me show you how this works. You go to Thomason.com and get familiar with the site as soon as you can. And say we had our own fish oil. So one thing I might do is type in fish oil and see who else has done a fish oil. Okay, and specifically who else has done a fish oil where their product is on Amazon.com. See that right here? And that's, we say, huh, interesting. So then what we might do is we might take this product, and we might actually then try to find if anybody on the interwebs from this Thomason listing wrote a blog post or a tweet about it, or a Facebook, what have you, right? So this is NPOL omega-3. And so what I would then do is go over to Google and type in NPOL omega-3, and I would see, did anybody blog about this? Did anybody write about this? Okay, so I start looking at some of these, and there's a press release for it. There looks like a blog for it, right? And yeah, you know, it's like, so we start looking at these and say, did any of these get any traction? And if so, who got traction? What did they do to get the traction? What did they write in their Thomason giveaway to get that traction going? Which ones did good? Which one of these failed? And so on and so forth. And so that's really powerful. So you can identify the type of Thomason offers that pop, that do really well. The other thing you can do is who has ran a related deal already. So remember when I said earlier, frequently bought together, customers who bought this also bought that. If we can take a turmeric curcumin, let's do a different one. Vitamin D3. We could take one of these and say who ran a vitamin D3. And if they ran a vitamin D3, and then we find that a lot of people blogged about this, picked this up, talked about it, etc., we can go to those people and we could say, hey, I saw you did this on Thomason and you wrote this blog and your people loved it. Why don't you do one on our fish oil? How do I know that these markets are related? Because Amazon says customers who buy this buy that. But at the same time, we skip Thomason and we go right to the source. We find the people who use Thomason blogged about it. We see the best ones out of there by doing some Google searching. So we Google search like this brand, right? And then we see, hey, what comes up? Who blogged about this? Who talked about this? Did they get any traction? If so, what kind of traction they did? So somebody did a YouTube And yeah, you could say only 26 views. Is that worth it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. She's got 577 subscribers, right? I might give her a free product. It's going to cost me, what, $5, $10? I'll have her create a YouTube video on it for no other reason than over time this thing is going to be valuable to me. So this is what I mean by going to the source. You know she found this on Thomason, but here's somebody else, right? And you know she found this on Thomason. And now she's writing a review about it, right? And then you kind of get a feel. Did somebody like this? Okay, so 2 comments is pretty good. Now somebody says, I just ordered, right? So you might find these websites, these bloggers that you can straight go to. This person has 1,500 followers. Hey, I'll take 1,500 followers for one bottle that I give away, right? Super duper powerful traffic source if you use it. If you don't use it, you have nothing to complain about, okay? Another one to consider is deal sites. So slickdeals.net is the granddaddy of them all. It's the greatest deal site in the world. It's also filled with a bunch of assholes. So if you go out there and you are self-promotion, you will not win. So what I recommend is you observe slickdeals.net for 14 or 21 days and get a good feel of what the culture is like, what deals do well, what deals do not do well, what stuff people hate. And so then you get an idea of, if you were to do a deal on there, how would you go about making that deal so it's like all these other deals that people love? Fat Wallet is the same thing. Go to fatwallet.com and look through the forums and see what deals that people run where they still make money even though they're giving it away at a discount. And then emulate your deal so it can be similar to that. So identify the ones that are successful, then work your deal so it looks similar to those deals, so therefore you too can be successful. RetailMeNot.com is another deal site. I don't want to give you them all because I want everybody to find their own deal sites and explore and try them so you can kind of keep them to yourself. So you just do Google deal sites in the USA. Deal sites like what? Deal sites like Groupon, deal sites 2014, deal sites like Group Deals. I mean, Amazon starts suggesting you, and then you can even start typing in deal sites forums, okay? And then you could say like supplement deal sites, right? And I mean, it's an endless maze. There's millions of deal sites out there, no joke, that you can tap into, still make a profit, even though you're giving it away at a discount. But at the end of the day, instead of making a 50% profit, you make a 30% profit. That's cool because every single sale helps you rank for your main and secondary keywords on Amazon. Lastly, here is joint ventures. So I showed you earlier how to find specific joint venture partners with Thomason in a sense, where it's a very simplistic joint venture where you say, hey, cool, you did this thing on Thomason, do my thing now, I'll give it to you for free. But even more complex would be something like this, where you find somebody with a big following and you say, hey, I would love to work out a deal where I give you 15% of all the profits generated from your promotion on this website. And to show you I'm serious, here's $200 up front, right? Or something along those lines. And you can do this with bloggers. You can do this with people with large Facebook pages and Facebook groups. Like, take our Facebook group, for example. If I promoted somebody to our ASM Masters, you think I can make money? You think they can make money, right? There's like 1,000 yoga groups that are bigger than our group. There's like 1,000 health craze groups. There's 1,000 cooking groups. They all exist. If you control the person who controls your ideal audience, you will never want for money. You will always do well. So you say, who is somebody who influences and controls my direct audience, and then how can I approach them in a way that they'd be very happy to endorse my Amazon product, so they can win, their customers can win, and then of course I can win, right? I being you in this case. So those are short term. In the long term, things you want to consider is influencing the frequently bought together. There are ways you can do that. So if you run promotions where you say, hey, buy these 2 products together and I'll give you a discount, or I'll give you a deal, or I'll give you something extra, then pretty soon Amazon just starts automatically advertising your product. So if I go to Amazon.com and I do a search for like silicone baking mat, and let's look at like the #1 person here, artisan. And then we go down here and we say customers who bought this also bought this baker sheet. Why can't it be our baker sheet? Or vice versa. If I look at this baker sheet, customers who bought this also bought this. Why can't mine be that thing? Sometimes you'll see frequently bought together, which for some reason, I don't know why it's not showing up right now. Maybe it has to do with my browser size. Or maybe sometimes Amazon tests it too. So oftentimes they literally have one-click purchasing abilities where let's say customers who bought this are frequently bought together, so you can just buy both at the exact same time. Let's try one more. Let me go back to Baking Mat and let's try a different listing. And let's see if they show a frequently bought together. They do not, but again, customers who bought this also bought. So we can start actually influencing that and showing up in those locations. You get the idea, right? Google SEO becomes very, very popular. So if I do something like a vitamin C serum Google search, and notice what the very first listing is in vitamin C serum. It's an Amazon listing. And if you click on this, this is all Google traffic, okay? So if you look at this vitamin C search and you actually do vitamin C on Amazon itself, let's see if Pure Body Natural shows up anywhere on page 1. Okay, they're right there. So the Google can influence your Amazon listing, but even if it doesn't, you still probably sell pretty good. Like for example, they're selling 100 units a day, maybe probably more, 150 units a day, depending on the seasonality of this type of product, right? They're ranked number 1 in Google, though. I'm assuming that helps contribute to sales, because if you look at who's ahead of them, this Oz Natural is just a beast. But you look at some of these other ones, like this new nutrients, and you see they're 6,000 in beauty, but they're ranked number 1 here, which they probably won't be for very long. They usually aren't. Okay, so even if you're not outranking somebody in Amazon, you can still be outselling them easily because you're sending your own traffic. Number 2 is also an Amazon listing. Now this one is Isabella Formulae or something like that. And where's Isabella Formulae at on page 1? Do you see her anywhere? Or him anywhere? This product anywhere? They are not on page 1 at all. How are their sales though? Their sales are selling 2-3 units a day. So they're probably only making sales off their Amazon ranking in Google. So the easiest things to rank in Google are Amazon pages. They're outranking Dr. Oz, they're outranking everything else, right? So a little bit of SEO work can go a long way. It's going to take some time, so I don't recommend it as a short-term strategy, but as a long-term strategy. The ultimate thing is brand recognition. You want people to start searching for your name, your product name, your business name, your brand name. Then, if they start doing that, you'll get traffic to your own e-commerce site if you set one up, or people will find you in the results on Amazon and they'll see all kinds of different products of yours that they can buy. We also want to get referrals. So if we do really good customer service, if we go out of our way to make the customers happy, they are so much more likely to refer other customers on Amazon than anywhere else in the world. And then if we're building an email list or a customer list, so if we include in our product, and you don't have to do this up front, nor do I recommend you do this for phase 1 products, but as you get a little bit more adept at this game, you might want to include a ride-along. What I mean is when they open up the product, it also says, hey, congratulations, you qualify for this thing. Go here to get it. And going here is an email list. Then you can launch every new product internally from your own customer list. You say, hey, you bought our last product, so get a good deal on our new product. Good deal still makes profit for you, and it creates enough activity to push it to the top of Amazon for those keywords that you would wish to rank for. Now here's the consideration. I've given you many options. Do not do them all at once. That's silly. That's stupid, and that's almost guaranteed failure, okay? Pick and choose which ones make the most sense to consider doing and implementing in the short term, okay? Also, some you will never do, okay? So if I have a pill that cures erectile dysfunction, I'm not going to advertise it on Facebook. I can't advertise on Facebook. They will not let me. But even if they did, I still wouldn't do it. Okay? But would I do it in Google pay-per-click? Probably, right? Some of these things you won't do because they don't make sense for your product. Some of these things that you won't do because you don't like doing them. That's fine. There's so many things you can do that you can just pick the ones that make sense to you, that seem the most obvious for your products, that are contextual, which is really important. All of these are contextual, and these aren't all the traffic strategies I'll give you. These are just to get you started, right? Just pick the ones that seem to make the most sense to you, and if they work, great. If they don't work, try another one, or try other ones. Ones being plural, right? But consistently do things day in and day out that can help increase your ranking in Amazon. I will tell you the number one single greatest fail factor in this ASM business is not consistently doing something day in and day out to increase your Amazon rank. And I'm not talking like every day we run a marathon. I'm talking like every day we go down to the store and back, and we walk instead of drive the car, right? And maybe the store is just like 2 houses down. So I'm not talking about running marathons every day. I'm talking about taking 10 or 15 or 20 extra steps that you normally wouldn't take. Just little things that have been done consistently to try to increase your rank in Amazon are going to add up over time over most everyone else that's selling the product that you're selling, because they only do stuff once in a while. That's how you beat them. Consistency trumps everything in this business. Bottom line is this: traffic to Amazon is the easiest to convert. So you said, Jason, I've tried Facebook advertising in the past and it's failed. Were you trying it to your own private labeled Amazon product using my copywriting strategies? And if you can't say yes, then try it again. This time it's a lot more likely that traffic will work. Same thing with Google pay-per-click. Same thing with joint venture promotions. Same thing with deal sites, etc., etc. There are more opportunities. There are more traffic sources to tap into, and it's more easy to use those traffic sources to turn a profit with Amazon products than anything else you can sell online. Why? Because Amazon's the number one leading retailer. People just buy if it's on Amazon. And more than half the reason people buy is because of the trust factor. You now have that when previously you never did. So any and all traffic that you've ever driven is now much more effective. And any traffic you've never driven before because you didn't think it was available to you, now it's potential traffic that is easily available to you. Like I can never post a free ebook on a deal site. Would never go over. But you post a discount to a product and you get 10,000 visitors overnight for free, right? Just a small percentage out of profit you pay of every sale made, right? This is the kind of stuff that's available when you start selling physical products on Amazon that's never been available to you before. So consider this. Use what I've given you, the raw materials, now to kind of flesh out your own promotional plan as it makes sense to you and is contextual to you and your product or your products that you're thinking about selling. And then adjust in season according to taste and make the right tweaks as you go along, and do this and just be consistent in the application and you will win. I guarantee it.